So I'm gonna share with you guys a very personal story that I know a lot of you guys are also gonna connect with and relate to. But basically, it's about how your friendship, your relationships with your group of friends unfolds over time. I know I just said a bunch of words that don't really make sense, but essentially what I'm saying is, you know how a lot of us have a friend group that we grow up with? It's the boys, it's the guys, whatever you want to name it. And then you also hear how once you grow up, you often lose touch with a lot of those friends. Maybe you guys go to different cities for university, for college, or you just grow apart, or you weren't able to maintain the relationship because life got in the way. And you kind of look back and think, those were some of the best memories. I wish I had those people in my life still. And you just kind of fell out of touch. And you've probably seen, shorts, reels, where, it's like a message for the people that you're no longer friends with, that those were some of the best times. Let's see if I can actually find one that I can put up on the screen.
We're growing up, and that means that we're not going to talk to or see each other as much as we used to. And that's just reality. But in case the day comes that we never speak to each other again, I just want you to know that I'm glad I met you. Because we have made memories that will live in me forever. And it's because you're a real one.
What I'm going to tell you guys is really how my group of friends really evolved over the years. And to be honest with you guys, we're all grown up now. And the best thing I can say is that we still talk to each other every single day. And this is one of my biggest goals, actually, to keep this up and not let life get too much in the way, because these people are irreplaceable. And I know a lot of you guys feel the exact same way. And obviously, it requires contribution from each member of the friend group. It can't just be you trying to pull everything. That's not how it's going to work. But very likely, your friends also feel the same. So it's just a matter of making a few habits and establishing a few rules to live by every single day, or for the rest of your life, if that's how long you want to keep your friend group alive. Before I continue, guys, by the way, I swear I'm gonna clean up the background and make it a little bit more pleasing to look at. I know it's just kind of white and bland. I've been busy with quite a few things, going on different work trips. I just got back from Boston literally 2 days ago, and I have more trips scheduled, as well as I'm planning to go to Sri Lanka with my girlfriend for about 3 weeks, which is quite a bit of time considering that I also want to be making these videos consistently. So there's a lot of exciting things going on. There's the holiday season coming up, of course, and it's a really busy time. But the best part is I'm just focused on grinding this out. I mean, it's ridiculous how many videos I've actually recorded in the past week. I don't post them all at once, obviously, but there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes. So hopefully you guys can appreciate that. But moving forward with the story, when I was about 16, I was still in high school. I was actually entering grade 12. And my family, we decided to move to a different city. So we lived in Winnipeg, and then we moved to Ottawa. By the way, for those that don't know, these are cities in Canada. So that basically meant that we're no longer going to be a complete group of friends. And so I moved to Ottawa in grade 12. And as a side note, changing high schools in grade 12 sucks, because grade 12 usually is the best year because you're the senior, you know everybody, you're the highest grade, you're the oldest people there. And I just kind of missed out on that because I went into the new school and I didn't know anybody, and I didn't really make that many meaningful friendships. But in hindsight, that might actually have been a good thing, because that's one of the things that kept me really, really in touch with my friends. And naturally, we had a group chat, so of course, we were posting stuff every day there, we were still talking, and because really also I had nobody to talk to here, so naturally, I would just text my friends as usual. The cool thing is though, every single winter break and spring break, I would visit Winnipeg. I would visit there and see my friends, and it was some of the best times ever because we had a little cottage out of the city, and it was still there, it was still ours, and we could just go there. And what do you think high school kids do when you have a house to yourself outside of the city. Exactly. You're gonna have a lot of fun. So some of the best memories were made there. To this day, I look back at those times as that was the shit. That was so fun. And so I would work a part-time job, I work at Subway, I saved up money, and I would go on these trips. And of course, there were other people involved. There was more friends, but the most important part was the friend group, the core. That's what made everything up. And then here's the actual critical point, because even though I moved away, I was still seeing my friends a few times a year for a prolonged time. So we pretty reasonably kept up our relationship. Yes, even if some of you guys move away, just save up some money and go see your friends. That's how you can continue to maintain that relationship without life getting in the way too soon. And then it was 2018. We were all 18 years old, and that's when I visited for the last and final time where things were how they used to be. I remember during one of our parties at the cottage, I just kind of sat there. We all sat by the campfire, and there was a few other friends, and it just hit me. It really, really hit me. I walked over to them and I said, hey, let's step aside real quick. So I pulled all of them in. Some of the other friends that were not the core wanted to join. I said, no. You guys stay there. We're gonna go over here. So we walked over to the side of the road. There was like a big ass ditch that you could kind of sit and hang your feet over. And I said the following words. Do you guys realize that this is the last time all four of us are gonna be gathered together like this? Let that sink in. You know, we sat there, pondered, and thought, yeah, that's right. Why was that? Well, I already moved away, but one of my other friends was also moving away for school to another different city. And this would mean we're also starting college and university all roughly at the same time. So we're going to be really busy, and we're probably going to make new friends. We're going to have those college, university fun years ahead of us. But we didn't necessarily know how can we interlace and intertwine our lives with each other in those scenarios. It would be kind of difficult. Because as a student, imagine having to study full time and also trying to work, maybe save up some money for a trip, maybe you need a car, whatever it was just going to be a lot more difficult. And that was also the time where it was time to lock in. This is your future we're talking about. We either got to study hard, we have to build a career, and it won't be until a very long time where hopefully we've all somewhat established ourselves and can actually do these things on our own accord. Because back then, when we sat, at the edge of that ditch, I understood that the only reason we're actually able to do this right now is because we're still young and have a lot of free time. And, maybe some of us have jobs, but it's not that crazy. And they're not that important. They're just part-time jobs. And at the same time, none of this is mine. This is my parents'. This house is my parents'. I didn't have any living expenses yet, so all money that I made basically just went into my pocket. So it wasn't that crazy to afford a trip to go somewhere, because not only you're paying for the plane tickets, but you also have to obviously have some money to spend while you're there. And often, our parents would help us. They would either give us some extra money so we could spend, depending on your situation. But most of it we had to earn ourselves, but it was still very easily doable. And I knew that moving forward, for us to have another kind of experience like this, where we're all together, it's party, it's fun, and we're still young, that's going to have to be in the future where we can basically afford to live in our own place or, have a house to ourselves. And that's going to take some time. We're going to have to really build up our lives. So that was that. That was the last time we were all together in 2018. And we didn't know when is going to be the next time. Throughout the time, we continued communicating. Every single day, our chat was active. Maybe that's one of the reasons why also I didn't feel the need to make too many serious actual friends, because I always felt connected. I never felt like we're growing apart or falling apart. Not at all. It still felt very natural. And one more thing we would do is we would still make an effort to see each other, but now it was different. We couldn't get the core of us, all four of us there. So sometimes one of my friends from a different city would come visit Ottawa, so it would be just me and him, which is fun, amazing, but the entire time we're missing the other two. So it's not complete. And then sometimes I'd visit there, so then you'd be missing the other guy, and this would continue throughout the years. And we would plan different trips as we could. You know, we had one friend come to my city, then we would drive from my city to the other friend's city, but there was always someone missing. It was never complete, and it was always very short-lived. Because how much time could we really take off? You know, we're working jobs because we're trying to pay for tuition, and we're taking classes, so how much money can you really save up? And at the time, I also had a car, so I would have to pay for that. So it wasn't that easy anymore, but we still made an effort and continued to maintain our friendship. And throughout the university years, no matter how many new friends we made, they could still not even come close to replacing the original friend group. Because they just can't. It can't come close. They're too new. They don't even know you for that long. Maybe a couple of years at best. But your original friend group knows you for half your life, if not more. Then it happened that one of my friends actually moved to my city, and we were able to live in the same city together for a couple of years. Then he moved away. Another friend moved to my city as well. He still lives here to this day, which is great. It's great to have your people close by. So the only thing is, it wasn't until about 6 or 7 years later where all of us were able to come together again, fully, all four of us. It was just last year. It was actually 2024. It was winter holidays, and it was really quite the time. I mean, think about it. Although we have seen each other here and there, some of us more than others, but all four of us finally came together. We were sitting in my place and just thinking, wow, how much time has actually passed since that conversation where we knew we're not going to see each other for a long time. And although we're not really in the position where we want to be, there's still a lot of goals to achieve. But you know what? It was made possible. And it was made possible in a way that doesn't take away from still being locked in. Because we have big goals, and we don't want to just settle for mediocrity, for less. Could I have visited my friends more throughout those years? Yes. I definitely was working enough to do so. I also knew that if I keep spending my time and money to keep on going for these fun trips, it's going to really slow down the rate at which you build your life up. Especially when I was running a business, I couldn't see anybody. I was so busy day and night. It was unbelievable. And I knew that I just had to get through that so that I can get to the other side where I can actually justify seeing my friends a lot more often. And we're still not where we want to be in the sense that we still only see each other a few times a year. But yeah, it was 2024 and we all came together. It was a great time. It just reinforces the fact that no one can really replace the people you grew up with. The original group of boys that grew up together. It is such a blessing to have those people still in our lives. And I know some of you guys actually can't say the same because, believe it or not, there's a lot more that goes into it. It's sometimes not so easy to maintain these relationships. And I'm not talking about conflict or anything. I'm saying literally life just gets in the way. You want to build a business, so now you're going to have to invest all your money and time. So you literally can't see anybody. Take a vacation? Well, sometimes you can't. Most of the time you can't. There's no way I could take some time off because I'd literally be screwing myself over. And there was a good chance the business would not make it if I even left for a week. That's how critical it was. And this is just kind of my point of view, right? This is me telling the story from my perspective. And I'm proud to say that despite everything, despite life, we're all still in communication every day. Fuck, even once in a while, once in a year or multiple year period, I'll throw on a Minecraft server so we could all hop on for like a week or two and just spend some time with each other, socialize. And although I quit playing video games, there's nothing wrong with throwing on a Minecraft server just because this is what you guys used to do and using it as some time to socialize and catch up with your friends. This isn't video gaming. If you come home at night after being busy all day, hop on for an hour, maybe your friends are on, hop on a voice call. Why the fuck not? That's the shit that keeps you guys together. Now don't cope and say that, oh, well, the reason I play video games is because I get to hang out with my friends, and you do it for like 4, 5, 6 hours a day, every day. No, don't do that. But there's nothing wrong with picking a small time frame where you can hop on and have some fun. And unfortunately, even though I actually, threw on a server, we usually do it around winter holidays. I remember one of the years I put on a server, we all joined at the same night. I played for about an hour. We all just got started. And the next time I was able to log in was in 2 weeks. I logged in 2 weeks. Everything was done. All of it. The entire playthrough. I just looked at it like, damn, what did I miss? Yeah, it's very common that, you only play a server for a couple weeks. But I was like, wow, I missed it again. And this would happen year after year. And who knows? We might do something this year again. And hopefully I'll have some more time. But the point is, there's so many little things you can do that can keep you guys together, but it will never happen without effort from each person. And maybe one of the friends can be in a difficult position. Maybe they can't always make it and fly out to your city. Maybe they're having financial issues. Maybe they're in school or they're working 2 or 3 different jobs. So you have to spot each other. You have to fill in the gaps. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'll tell you for sure, if you do not put the effort in and you think your relationship is going to be maintained naturally by itself, that's not going to happen. If you don't make it a habit to just check the group chat every day just for fun, post some meme, some garbage, you guys will stay in touch. And when you meet up with them, it's like nothing ever changed. That's the best part. I haven't seen one of my friends that's part of the core group of friends for a stretch of 5 years. 5? No, like 6 or 7 even. Oh my god. I did not mean to do that. Seriously. It's fucking ridiculous. My little sister walks around the house and says that thing all the time. I don't even know what it means, but I just say it for fun too. In fact, I don't really think anybody knows what it means, because we all just kind of want to belong, right? And be part of that. Guys, it's not crazy hard to maintain a friendship. It is effortless in the sense that your friends understand you if you go missing in action for 2 weeks, a month, because you got busy and then you catch up. Sure, they'll understand. I'm saying the reason a lot of people say they're no longer friends with the people they were used to, and there was no big conflict, nothing ever happened. It's just people grew apart and life happened. They got wives, they got girlfriends, some of them have kids. Yeah, those things do get in the way, and it's not a bad thing. You're supposed to move forward. You're gonna have a family one day. But even despite all that, it should just be a standard for you. No matter what happens in my life, no matter who I welcome into my life, I will always have time for my friends. It's just as simple as that. And if that happens to you, maybe you get a girlfriend and she's like, oh, you're gonna see your friends? Motherfucker, I will see whoever the fuck I want. I will always make time for my friends that were there for me for all this time. I will simply not allow a girl to enter my life and to control how much I see my friends. That's just not gonna happen. It's a standard. But if you guys let yourselves and your lives be controlled by other people, maybe your girl takes too much time, maybe you have a kid now, and you gotta work and feed the family. Understandable. Just make an effort. Always make an effort. That's my story of how we all, as friends, managed to stay together through all this time and not grow apart. Now, all of us are growing in different ways. We all have different careers. We're all working on different things. And some of us even, grew up a little and became a little bit different. But you know what doesn't change? It's at the core. You'll always remember how you hung out with your friends, the things you did, and that's always memories and feelings you guys are always going to share with each other forever. And are we in the ideal situation? I'm part of the way there, but I'm still not happy seeing some of my friends 2 or 3 times a year. It's not enough, because if that's the case, and let's say you're going to live for another, 50 years, 2 to 3 times a year, seeing your friends, that's literally a limited amount of times you're going to see your friends, and that's pretty sad. Because if you realize it or not, most of your time with your friends has been spent during the time you were growing up, because you saw them every day for years. And now what's left is the other 10%. If you let it happen that way. For a long time now, And this is here to stay. I've made it one of my personal missions and personal goals that my friend group will stay together for as long as I'm here. As long as I'm alive, we're all gonna stay together. Simple as that. I've made that commitment a long time ago. Ever since we had that conversation by the ditch where we knew our lives are gonna get a lot more chaotic, but you know what? We're still working on it. I wanna be in a position where I have the abundance of time, money, energy to hop on a plane one random ass weekend when I feel like it and see my friends. Whenever the fuck I feel like it. Christmas, let's go. Bring our families. Birthday? How many birthdays were missed? A random long weekend? Imagine. You can work towards that because it's not even anything crazy. You don't have to be crazy rich to do that. You just have to be well taken care of and manage your shit, manage your time, and you can do that. Just imagine you just have a feeling, you know what? I'm just gonna open up my phone, I'm gonna book a flight ticket, and I'll literally be there tonight. And you pull up to their house tonight and they're like, whoa, what the fuck are you doing here? Fuck yeah. That's what I'm talking about. That's the best shit. Imagine you could do that. Some of you guys can already do that. Some of you guys are in the position to do that, but no longer are in touch with those friends. So for those of you guys actually growing up still, and you're still with all of your friends, well, first off, understand you're living in the good times. Those are the best times. Take some time to be grateful and appreciate that and have some meaningful conversations. But the other thing is that this is how you can maintain your relationships even past school when your life does get chaotic. It's possible. I'm just an ordinary person. This is how I did it. I didn't know how it's going to turn out, but I knew one thing is that we are going to stay together and in touch because I made that a standard for myself. That's it. So whoever listened, I appreciate being able to share this story with you guys. I know this actually touches on and relates to a lot of us. We have so many good, close friends that we grew up with and we just never speak to again. But it doesn't have to be this way. Life doesn't have to happen to you like that, where it splits you all up. You don't have to use that as an excuse. Just make an effort consistently, time and time again, every day, every week, every year. Just keep doing it. It becomes a habit. It's not that crazy. But what is crazy is being able to say, we've been friends for over a decade. Some of my friends have been in my life for the majority of me being alive. How crazy is that? I'm 25 years old now, about to turn 26. Damn, holy shit. Like, we're not kids anymore. Like, I'm in my mid-20s. And while a lot of things passed, I am still really excited for the future. There's only better things to come. There are more new memories to be made with that group of friends from a decade ago. And what I was gonna say is the craziest thing is one of my friends that I've met, which is basically where it all started, we were 11. So if I'm 25 right now, that means we were in each other's lives for the majority of the time. How crazy is that? It's like your family, it's like your siblings, because they're in your lives always. They're basically just another family member at this point. And you don't forget about your family members, right? Think about that. If you guys feel like you relate or you like these kind of videos and you want to be part of the journey, feel free to follow me. Other than that, I'll catch you guys in the next one.